I've said some disparaging things about you, and I will take accountability for that.
What's the worst? You must have really been going in on me.
I have.
You must have really been going in
I
on
will
me.
never lie on myself. And the thing is, I couldn't connect with you unless I expose that about me. I thought you'd probably know some of the things that I've said.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why is it so easy for some of us to attack and criticize a campaign that is so necessary, so important, and so critical to the success of our community? Peace and love, beautiful. How you doing today?
Very good. And yourself?
I'm all right. Where you tapping in from, sister?
I don't want to really reveal my location, but I'll say the Midwest.
Okay. Give me a state. Give me a state. Can you give me a state?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's black folks out there?
Yes, there is.
I'm picking with you. I've been out there. I've been to Minneapolis a couple times. I spoke at the University of Minnesota Mankato campus.
Yeah.
For Black History Month a couple years
ago. My little sister used to go there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's on your mind today, beautiful?
I don't, of course, agree with everything you say, but
that's all right.
Being a person who has practiced and also studied mental health, you're spot on. And I can't take that away from you at all.
I appreciate it.
Sometimes I may seem like a troll and everything. And
what's the name you be trolling under? What's the name? Let me see if it rings a bell. I probably won't know. What is it? Because I don't really follow too much.
The same name that I'm under right now, Allie the Sag.
I can't see it. After I tapped in, I can't see it.
Allie the Sag.
No.
Okay.
My memory's so bad.
Okay. No, but
what you be saying? What you be saying about me, Ali the Sag?
No,
what you be putting under the post?
I do have, very much admiration for you. I admire what you're doing. Very inspiring. And like I said, me having, I have a master's degree in, health psychology. So it deals with every single thing as far as even health and diet, spirituality, and everything like that. But the whole school thing, and I don't want to get into it. I just think that
get into it. It's okay, because there might be other people who have the same questions you have.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that.
Well, it's just, it feels like it's a fleeting event, and it's, for example, you're
even though we have the school, it's still a fleeting event, huh?
Well, the thing is, my little sister actually went to an Afrocentric school. And we have these schools all...
Public, charter, or independent?
Of course it was charter. But the thing is...
We not charter, though.
I know.
This garbage.
I know it's private. But at the same time, it's these young children have the learning. I would love, because I used to work at a special education needs school. And
special needs school.
Yes, yeah. Yes. And as a mental health, practitioner and personal therapist, child therapist, with these children, that's why I say I agree with a lot of what you are saying when it comes to the children, and I appreciate it. But the whole thing, it turns me away when the whole, when I'm hearing about the taxes and the school and not being...
What about the tax? No. Get specific with me. What about the taxes?
I don't know. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
So let me get this right. So you telling me, beautiful, that you don't have all the facts, but
don't do that.
You won't support the project because you're listening to what other people have to say about it, who don't have no inner working knowledge of what's really going on.
Absolutely, because you haven't, besides that last interview that I heard, You,
the other day.
yeah, exactly. And I watched.
Well, that interview should have clarified it, though.
Well, okay.
What question do you still have after that interview?
After that.
But let me say this first.
Okay,
though,
go ahead.
before you answer
Yeah.
that. Do you understand why Dr. Umar does not reveal all internal details regarding the FDMG campaign? Do you understand why I don't do that from a business standpoint as well as from a political standpoint? Let me start with that. Do you understand why someone opening a school that is considered as controversial as this, why I wouldn't share every detail with the general public?
I can understand that. Absolutely. I see your point in that.
So the school is in no tax trouble, county or city whatsoever. But the problem is so many of us get our information from YouTube. We listen to these random coons who have built platforms off of trying to assassinate the integrity of Dr. Umar. And rather than wait for my updates, we would rather listen to these idiots who are armed with nothing other than information they find on the internet that doesn't have any context to it or any historical perspective to it. So that's why I stopped doing regular updates, because there's so much negativity being put out on YouTube that I can't compete with it. And so I've resigned myself to the fact that when they see that school up and running, they will know the truth. And also, and then I'll let you go, Queen.
Okay.
My supporters are not influenced by the YouTube coonery. Like when I get my donations in the mail, they tell me, stop responding to the questions. You have answered every question. You have shown everything that needs to be shown. If they don't believe in you now, they're never going to. And if they believe in you now, they're not going to stop. So the elders were like, stop answering. These people aren't donating. If you're answering all these questions, if they're that suspicious, they're not going to donate anyway. So why waste your time? Focus your attention on getting your school up. And that's why I've really fallen back from that whole situation.
No, I definitely can understand that. And I appreciate your enthusiasm in opening a school, especially to the betterment of a lot of children who have had that diagnosis or that label put on them as far as, you know, special education. Because I even had it in my family where I've had a diagnosis of, you know, a sibling who had special education, and she doesn't have she didn't need that. And so
misdiagnosed.
Yeah, so she was excluded from being, you know, socially in a place where she should have been into. So I appreciate that. And I definitely respect you for that, for actually acknowledging that that exists and educating a lot of parents, because a lot of parents, they're so busy with work and they can't really comprehend what is really going on. I'm reading a lot of, you know, children's, you know, IEPs, and I'm like, why am I copying this person's IEP to another kid's IEP? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know, so so there's a, you know, I get really passionate about that because I have had to, you know, deal with that. And I'm like, no, that makes no sense. And, you know, so I really appreciate that. I'm very passionate about that. I'm just, okay, so I'll go away from that, from the 50-state tour. I'm like, how can one man do all of this stuff within 1 year and still be, for yourself, mentally sound? Because you have to have that personal mental clarity
I
as
agree.
well.
I agree.
And you're saying 50-state tour, all the while opening a school. And I just want to level set. I don't want to be derogatory at all, because there's no need to be. You know, you're a very respectful gentleman, and that's where I want to keep it.
Some people told Harriet Tubman the same thing, didn't they? They told Frederick Douglass the same thing. They told Nat, you know, so our history as a people has always been succeeding against the odds. The way I look at it is this: it's a matter of life or death. Because if they end up in that special ed to prison pipeline, there's no bringing them back most of the time.
Absolutely.
You follow?
Yeah.
So if I have to give up every free moment of my life to free a Black child, I got to do it, because no one else is doing it. I'm not the only Black school psychologist, but I'm one of the few who don't work for the school system. So I have the freedom to tell the truth publicly. Most of my colleagues work for school systems, so they don't have the freedom to tell the truth publicly. So I have to build the school. I have to build the NIBPA. I got to do the tour because there's no one else. I'm going to be the one to let them know that the learning disability is a joke and ADHD is a fraud. Where is that person? There's so much money to be made in psychology.
Absolutely.
That I don't know if you'll get another one of me for a long time, because I could become a millionaire in a year. A lot of you not. That's how much money is in mental health. I could become a millionaire in a year with my credentials if I would just fall back and misdiagnose kids for a living.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they'll pay you $10,000 a eval. $10,000 for one. That's how much money they're making hustling our children. So I got to do it. If I don't do it, who else?
I will give you this, my own vantage point of it. I would say, but this is just my advice. You don't have to take it, but just my advice. I would say fall back on the school for a minute. And I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it.
I'm down here at the school right now.
But let me tell you something. Teach young people in the field of psychology, because your one school is only going to help people in Delaware. When you teach people, you're helping people all around the globe to do exactly what your passion is, what you are trying to do. And guess what? Instead of one school, we got 50. Instead of one school,
well, that's the goal,
we got 100.
After we do the first one, we want to replicate it.
No, but you have to start teaching now. You have to start teaching now, because there's a lot of people in psychology who are going to finish their degree without a job and without credentials and without nowhere to go. So if you start pouring your information into these young millennials who are ready to fight that fight, you are going to spread it out like wildfires. And that's just kind of the advice that I would give to you. Hold on, because we have tons of Afrocentric schools, Pan-African. I told you.
But now we don't have, I agree with you, but we don't have a single school like the one we about to make.
I get you, but you want to make one. Let's make 1,000.
No. We're going to start with one.
Okay.
But we want to replicate FDMG across the planet. I've been given 50 acres of land in Ghana, West Africa.
Yeah.
We're going to put an FDMG there. We want to put them everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we also want to build a virtual school platform. So if your son in Minnesota cannot attend school wherever the campuses are, because we'll end up with more than just Delaware, he can still be a student at the school virtually, where he can tie into the platform during class, right? So when his classmates show up at 8 o'clock, he taps in at 8 o'clock, and they can see him and he can see them, and the teacher can see them all. So he's right there in the class.
Right.
Without physically being in the class. So we will have a virtual school platform to go along with the physical campus.
And that's excellent. But again, I challenge you, start teaching some of these young millennials.
I agree.
To start this mission, that's going to be bigger than what's, taking place now. Start teaching.
I got a question. You should consider hosting the NIBPA 50 state tour for Minnesota. Because I haven't heard from anybody from Minnesota yet. All you have to do is find a place that can seat 150 parents with tables and chairs. A church community. Because Minnesota needs that, because y'all don't get a lot of consciousness out there.
We do, but it's kept in, confined areas, because we're a very liberal state, of course. But I've said some disparaging things about you, and I will take accountability for that.
What's the worst? You must have really been going in on me.
I have.
You must have really been going in
I
on
will
me.
never lie on myself. And the thing is, I couldn't connect with you unless I expose that about me. I thought you'd probably know some of the things that I've said.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why is it so easy for some of us to attack and criticize a campaign that is so necessary, so important, and so critical to the success of our community? As someone who has been on the other side of the Dr.Umar fence, an attacker, tell me about how were you able to attack me so easily, knowing how hard I work to do it? How?
Thank you for that question, because I was, when I was mental health, practitioner and everything, and also a lead mental health practitioner, I would watch your videos every single time you came up. And the biggest thing that I had an issue with, to where it struck me as was when you and I know you don't want to go through this, and I don't want you to, but Sarah Sutanseti, and it was just,
that was 3 years ago.
To me,
3 years ago.
To me,
that was 2016. We going into 2020.
But listen.
And I only did one video.
But that video was really harsh. And it's just if he feels that way about this man, what would he even feel about me? And then I started to get into some of the videos that were critical of you and learning more about that. And I'm really glad we're having this conversation. I really am, because this conversation is very much needed, because this is one of the reasons why I was just whoa, hold on. Am I going to be attacked as well? And I know you're not going to attack me, but the thing is, I went on the defensive, about that, because me and Sarah probably look like we can be brother and sisters or something like that,
But I didn't have an issue with skin tone. I don't do light skin supremacy or dark skin supremacy. We all family. So that was not my issue. My beef had nothing to do with his complexion.
But you said he looked
my
like an
family
albino.
is lighter than him.
You said he looked like an albino, and his skin tone is the same as mine.
Oh my God. So something like that stated at the height of a response to criticism that I received, you generalize that to yourself?
Well, because I'm just whoa, is it?
But I was talking to one person. I was not making a general statement, nor did I imply that I was rejecting light-skinned Africans. I've never, ever.
He has the same.
I'm a Pan-Africanist. How?
You said that he looks like an albino. He has the same skin complexion as me. I may even be a little bit lighter than him.
Okay.
So,
But why did you generalize it? Like, why did it have to be an attack on every light-skinned person? A comment I'm making to him. We were at each other. You follow what I'm saying?
because, for example, if we fell out, I'm like, oh, you're probably going to say the same thing about me.
So let me ask you this. I fell out with other people who are light-skinned. And I've made no such comment. So why? So all of the work I've done gets thrown out? You follow what I'm saying?
I would never discount the work that you do, ever. So, because I'm a very fair and logical person, I would never discount any work that you do. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the work that you do with our children that have special needs and some that are labeled as special needs when they really don't have special needs. So I have a hard passion for that. My only biggest thing is with the school and understanding that with the school, the way, what you need is like a board of trustees.
Well, you have to have a board if you're operating a corporation, and FDMG is a corporation.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So you're required by law to have that. But here's my issue, going back to a comment I made earlier. It amazes me, not you per se, but it amazes me how so many in the community expect me to tell them every single like I'm supposed to go on YouTube every day and give a full reporting of anything done for the school every day. You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm giving this to people who don't give a damn about Black children, the mission. Why would I do that? And if they didn't hear it, it automatically don't exist. You follow what I'm saying? So, because to be honest with you, I considered not showing the school at all or the location because I knew that would become a new focus of attack.
Right.
See, people most of my detractors, they're not interested in the school. They want to see me fail. They don't give a damn about Black kids or none of that. They just want to see me fail. So I wasn't going to show the school at all, but I said, you have to show it. Not for the detractors. I could give a damn for my supporters. My supporters needed that positive reinforcement to continue to stand strong, because although most of them have been resolute since day one, some of them probably began to drink some of the YouTube Kool-Aid. And because some of my supporters began to drink some of the YouTube Kool-Aid, I said, you got to show them the school. That's why I did the video. That's why I did the tour. It was for my supporters, not for the general public, not for the detractors, because as I've always said, my message is only to supporters and donors, not to anyone else. Because if you haven't donated after 5 years, you ain't going to. You follow? So I'm dealing with a specific group of people. But the haters give off this idea that I'm obligated to tell every Black person what I'm doing. Not at all. I totally disagree with that. I'm only accountable to those who support the agenda.
I can understand that. I can understand that because I don't tell what my right hand is doing to my left hand. I can understand that, and I respect that. One of the things I wanted to also kind of understand, you said that like you're dealing with a lot of sabotage. One of the things you said was that you're
and just to give you a couple of real quick, they contacted the Attorney General of Delaware. They contacted the governor's office. They contacted the Secretary of Education. They contacted the councilwoman where the school is. They also contacted L&I. If you remember, I had a cleanup day back in the summertime. Well, where we took all the furniture and we cleaned it up to make it ready for the contractors. They called the city and said that I had unlicensed people working on the school. L&I came out and they almost shut down the cleanup day. All we doing is cleaning up. And these Negroes who don't live nowhere near Delaware called the city and they came out, and they had to do a walkthrough to make sure I wasn't lying about the fact that this was a cleanup day and that I didn't have brothers and sisters who are unlicensed. Because before you do any work, you got to go downtown and pull the permit before you do any electric, any carpentry. So there was none of that. But these niggas called the white folks and told them that's what I was doing. So, but I'm going to tell you what bothers me the most. That so many of us will continue to watch videos by people who are making fun of something so critically important as this school. Like, none of those videos should ever be watched out of pure principle for caring for our kids. They should have 0 views, but yet our people still continue to support that nonsense, which makes me question, how serious are we really?
No, I definitely understand that and everything, and I'm definitely gonna ignore your chat because some of them are saying things that they're not very privy to, but we'll leave that at that. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about was in regards to, you said that there was a white attorney that sabotaged you, and I kind of want to
I believe he did it on purpose, because I have a hard time believing that a white attorney who does real estate law for a living could forget. You follow me? You know, I'm a first-time purchaser of a commercial. How could you forget? And he didn't claim to forget. He just never answered the question. I believe he did it on purpose. But to give him the benefit of the doubt, how could you forget to tell someone? How do you forget to tell them?
Oh, there you go.
That, yeah, that was a call. How do you forget to tell someone purchasing a commercial property that they only have, I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks, to file for a tax exemption 2 weeks after purchase date, to file for a tax exemption? How do you not tell me that at the closing? How do you not send that in an email? Like, I was so angry when I contacted the city and the county. They said you had 2 weeks to file for this. How was I supposed to know that?
But my question would have been is why not an African American or African?
Couldn't find one. No, I reached some.
Okay.
My original attorney was black. The original closing attorney was black.
Okay.
But then he told me he wasn't able to complete it because he had too much other stuff going on, and he didn't want to do a disservice for me. It was a black male.
Oh, wow.
It was a black male. He referred me to the white guy.
Oh, okay.
He started me in the process, but it appeared to be more cumbersome than he thought it would be, you know, and he had other things on his table, and he just called me one day and said, you know, I don't want to do you a disservice. I got so many other projects that I need to give you someone who knows this and knows it. I don't think he was as expert as the white guy he referred me to. But what he said was he wasn't able to finish it. He had some other stuff going on. I don't know what that was. Some other things that were more important at the time than helping me close with the school. And so he recommended me to the white guy.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. At least you know.
But you see how you made the assumption that I went straight to a white guy? You see that?
Absolutely. Because I mean, you didn't explain all of that, right? And you don't have to, but that's what people are going to do, right?
If I explained every single thing with the school, I would have no time to sleep or eat.
Yeah.
This is a commercial property. I shouldn't have to do that because it's not that important. What's most important is that we get the legal stuff done. What's most important is that we get the closing done, black or white. But naturally, I started with a black attorney for the closing.
And that's important to know, right? Like for your people and for like the people who you are trying to reach. Absolutely. So I can absolutely understand that. Why not concentrate on one project at a time? Because you have a lot of projects going on, so something is going to falter.
I don't agree that something has to falter. I think the school and the 50-state tour go hand in hand because they're two parts. The school is the institution.
Yeah.
The NIBPA is the organization.
Okay.
The school is proactive. We're going to prevent. The organization is reactive. We're going to intervene. I think you need them both. You need the institution to show how we should be educating our children, but you also need the organization to save as many children who have already been caught in that system. So I don't think that I could do one without the other. What is this truck doing?
Well, it's not it's not one without the other. It's more so concentrating your attention and focus on one at a time. Because, for example, like with the state tour, you could be traveling and going to a lot of Afrocentric Pan-African schools and you know, kind of envisioning how it will be at the school that you are going to be building and letting your donors know, like, this is going to take some more time. You know, we're still kind of, I don't know if it's in the infant phase or if it's in the toddler phase or if it, you know, what phase it's in, you know, and gaining so much information and knowledge from them as to how to run it. I feel like you're doing it all by yourself and you need a lot more professional help.
Well, on the school side, you got to remember, I've been in education my whole life. So most of my friends are educators, psychologists, principals. I have more help than I would need for 100 lifetimes. But again, because YouTube don't know who they are, they can't possibly exist. You see? On the other side, on the NIBPA side, that's the purpose of this training, to train other advocates to take my place. You follow? So that is what you're saying is exactly why I have to do the 50-state tour. So I can have an army of advocates who can go in place of me. That's why we're doing it.